One of the most prominent issues in the United States right now is the effect that wealth has on our policy. More specifically, I want to talk about campaign finance policy. The way our government is set up right now, wealth automatically leads to power, which means money causes political inequality in our system, which is one of the key values of democracy. And this political inequality is due to wealthy individuals being able to have such an effect on decision-making and policy. There are very few federal laws about campaign finance and limitations to it. There are some state laws that are different. However, I mainly want to focus on the presidential campaign. So I want to look at some countries whose regulations harshly juxtapose ours. First of all, the United Kingdom focuses on making sure that only permissible donors are allowed to donate. This includes UK citizens, whether you're abroad or not, and UK corporations. They're trying to keep outside influence from having an effect on their elections. The UK also puts in place a lot of spending limits just to keep the campaign reasonably even. Now, Canada has a very different approach. They prohibit any corporate or union donations and also have a max amount of money that an individual can put into a party. So as of 2025, an individual can only donate 1,750 Canadian dollars to each party per year. Canada does provide generous tax credits to people who donate to encourage individuals to donate money to their parties and candidates. Candidates can only contribute $5,000 to their own campaign, and leadership candidates, who are the politicians running for the leader of their party, which is a thing Canada does, can only contribute up to $25,000. Candidates and parties can also receive some reimbursements for party expenses during election season. Finally, I want to talk about Germany's policy. So Germany's policy is a bit of a mixture of the previous two. While they allow for public-private party financing, strict limits and disclosures are required for any donations over 10,000 euros. While this may seem pretty lenient, Germany mostly focused their reform in the 1960s on public funding and fairly issuing government funds to the parties. Basically, by improving public funds, Germany discourages large donors and corporations without needing to completely eliminate the option. So these three models have the same undertones, but obviously have some very large differences. The United Kingdom focuses on spending limits as well as who can contribute, while Canada just completely bans all corporate and union contributions, and Germany focuses on public funds and government funding campaigns. Public financing can reduce campaigns' dependence on wealthy donors and can also encourage individuals who may not have been able to afford running for office to run. So this means broader political participation, including people from the working class and people from under-recognized backgrounds. Because candidates don't need to rely on money from corporations or ultra-wealthy individuals, lobbyists and big donors have less of a sway over policy and decision-making. Also, when the people believe that politicians are accountable to their people and not these big donors, the trust in their government goes up. When campaign finances are regulated, a lot of officers are more likely to take into account what their constituents actually want, which means policy shifts towards the public interest. While all of these models that I've chosen are very different from one another, I do believe that elements from each of them are examples we can take into account when thinking about campaign finance reform in the United States.